Hey folks, if your car is running a little bit sluggish, you might want to clean the EGR valve and throttle body. Now, I done mine about 6 months ago, but with its MOT coming up and the car being 13 years old, along with the really strict emissions we have in the UK, I'm going to redo it and film it for you.
And if you don't clean them, this is what it can look like. So these are pictures that I found on the Facebook groups and just picked at random, so they're not the worst or anything, but these are unclean ones.
It can be a little bit intimidating doing the jobs yourself, but it is fairly straightforward. All you got to do is remove a few bits and clean them. That's all it is. So it's not overly complicated, but it makes a big difference. So what's the point of cleaning the EGR valve and throttle body? Well, over time they can get clogged, and it's recommended that you clean them every 50,000 miles. Now, I have my MOT in a couple of weeks, so I don't want any excuses for it to fail on the emissions side of things, which is why I'm redoing it again. I only did mine 6 months ago, so I'm not expecting too much of a clogged up one, but I wanted to just make sure that it's going to pass because the car is 15 years old and I need to keep it going for as long as possible. Now, with a clean EGR valve and throttle body, you're going to get better acceleration, you're going to get a nice smoother drive overall and better fuel efficiency. Now, the job itself will only take maybe a couple of hours if you're just taking your time, so it's not really that time consuming, and you don't really need that many special tools. So I'll put a list just here of what you'll need. So where are they on the engine? Now, right next to my torch, we have the pipe going down here, and then we have the EGR valve just next to it. So first we're just going to move this little plastic tab, just a little yellow tab, and then pull this away. That's going to give us some room. I'm going to throw some electrical contact cleaner inside on top of that.
We'll go back to it being in the car in a second, but if I just explain how it's held in place in the car, it'll be a bit easier for you to remove. It's just one fitting at the top and one at the bottom. And the T30 pan head flange screws that hold them in place. I'll replace them for M10 fittings later for easier removal. With the two screws now removed, all you need to do is pull it directly towards the back of the car, so just give it a wiggle. You don't need to twist it, just pull. Keep it out of the way because we'll clean it in a minute.
Next we're going to do the pipe. So at the top, the pipe has 10 mil, and you have 1, 2, and 3. And then the bottom is slightly different, and that one is a 5 mil, and you have 2. So you have one at the top, which you can easily see, and then right underneath, directly underneath, there's another one. So let's take them out. Okay, now inside the car, that's the way it goes. So we have the 3 M10 bolts at the top, so like so, and then you have the 2 at the bottom, which is the 5 mil Allen key bolts, 1 and 2. And that's basically the way it goes within the vehicle itself, like so, down here.
I do have a playlist on my channel which has a lot of different jobs that I've done on the car. If you're blessed and want to leave me a super thanks, which is like a one-time donation, that'd be very helpful. I am trying to save up for a van at the minute. But if you're skin like me, then you can just leave a like and then welcome if you're a subscriber.
Now that they're all undone, so this pipe here actually curves around. So as you pull it from the bottom and then pull it, then it will curve around like this.
I managed to find pictures from the first time that I'd done this job, and I did this job maybe a year and a half ago, and this is what the results were. I just like a clean, smooth running car, and it's an easy job. But as I mentioned, because I have the MOT coming up and I really want to pass the MOT, that's pretty much why I'm doing this.
2 products I'm going to be using today is the Halfords electric cleaner for the top, and then this one for the bottom is the degreaser, so let's give it a go. So I'm just going to wear some sunglasses just in case. Let's spray it.
I'm going to remove the throttle body and then come back to these, so I'm just going to leave them in soak like this. Last time the way I cleaned them was in the sink with soap and water. They were a lot worse last time, and the spray cleaner that I used wasn't as good as this one.
I'm going to go with the throttle body, which is this bit here. Okay, so what we're going to do is lift this up, and then like so. I'm going to unattach this. Move these pipes all of the way too. That is M10.
To make it make sense a little bit easier, I think the best thing to do is show you what it looks like off the car first and how it is held in place. So that's where it goes.
Okay, so the orientation, so the plastic bit will be at the back of the car. This goes up, but you have 3 bolts which will go into the actual plastic housing, and they are the M10, which goes one here, one there and one here, but you can see it's directly underneath. So that one is actually the tricky bit to get to, because as you can see it's in there like that with the things in the way here. Then the first ones that you remove are these ones, which are T30. So 1, 2, 3, and that's what holds them in.
Now let's remove it from the car.
Now we have 3, so we have one at the top. This is the T30. So you have basically one here, one there, which you can easily see, and then there's one which is pretty tricky to get to, just down at the bottom. So just down here.
You do have a few pipes in the way, so it's a little bit tricky to navigate, but I'm going to start with the trickiest one first, which is the kind of bottom left one, the way I'm looking at it, and you'll start to see the clean thread coming through in a second. They're about 1 inch or 2 centimeters in length, so they do take a little while to get out, and then here's the top of them. So I'm just going to remove the other 2 and just speed it up a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next bit.
Now, just like the other sensor, I'm going to pull the yellow tab out and pull the whole thing. And there we go. And then of course I'm going to use the contact cleaner on those. But let's get this out first. Okay, loosen them first. 1, 2, and then the third one is quite difficult to get to, but it's right down at the bottom, directly below that nib, you see, like here. So undo that one first.
Out of the whole process, this is probably the trickiest bit, because it's just the accessibility to it, but other than that, it's literally just, you know, undoing things and cleaning them. This one bolt did take me about 5 minutes. I always try and film as clear as possible and just show you the reality of doing these videos. Now I'm just going to remove the last 2 bolts. Now the unit itself is flat, so the moment the bolts are removed, the whole unit will fall, so keep a hold of it. It's cleaner than what I thought it was going to be, but here's some footage from last time that I cleaned it, along with a picture. Last time I used a carburetor cleaner that didn't really work that great. I mean, it was okay, but I ended up finding myself in a sink using soap and water to clean them, but again, keeping it away from the electrical sensors. What I found worked best was this WD-40 degreaser and a toothbrush to clean all the kind of harder to reach places. Once I'd done that, I kind of dried it, and then I used antibacterial wipes, which helped really well actually, and then I gave it another quick blast with the WD-40 cleaner, and then I dried it all off. If you do the project, please let me know what you used, and if you recommend it to other people, because there will be people who will take on this job after watching this video, and maybe they found better products to use than I have. But the products that I have used, they are in the link in the description for Amazon, and I've brought all of these things, so it's not sponsored or anything. Now they're clean enough and dry enough, it's time for them to go back in the car. This kit I actually leave in the boot of my car because I can do most repairs with just this kit. I did need the T30. Other than that, everything else is in here. This time round I removed the actual EGR sensor itself. If you do replace the sensors, they do need to be coded. This is the second version of me actually making this video, and I had a lot of thanks and comments before. And on the Facebook groups we did have a few people comment and leave pictures of them cleaning their one, and a few people did throw up their sensors being cleaned, which is why I thought I'd check mine. Now let's put everything back together. Just like before, it goes in this way, and then we'll start off with just the top bolt, or the easiest one for us to hold it in place. Got a M10 adapter on there. Need to be careful here so we don't drop it in anywhere. Now we'll just tighten those 3 M10 bolts into the housing unit.
and then we're going to put the free back on here. So we have the O-ring, looks perfectly fine. You want to make sure the pipe underneath, hopefully you can see it, that doesn't get caught in there. This one here. There we go, we're in.
Now we just need to put the long screws back in. They were a T30.
And we want to make sure all the pipes are back in, like so. My one broke the little catch there, but you'll have one just here. And then we want to clean this first. Now we'll just do the reverse order again. So pipe goes in like so, and then you want to twist it around on itself like so, and then give it a little wiggle. And then I'd start with the bottom ones first, and now the top ones, just the easy free. And last but not least, got the valve itself looking nice and shiny now, and it just goes back in. I need two hands for this. It just goes back in the way it came, so plastic bit, that one towards the left of the car as you're looking at the front of it, and then in it goes. It will go in just straight. There we go. And then put the two bolts back in. Okay, and then we just need to do the connection. So a little spray. Now we just need to marry up. See the little rubber stump fits with like these. So you just pop it on and push it in.
I've owned cars for 16 years, I've never paid for breakdown cover, so I'll keep these.
Along with keeping this in the boot in the car, I keep this diagnostic tool, which works really well actually, so I'm going to plug that in, because as it says, I don't want any surprises for the MOT. This fancy scanner stuff tells you basically everything you want to know about your car, so yeah, and you can do a scan if you want to. Boom.
2 weeks and 200 miles later, it's a pass. There we go. Thanks for watching, thanks for being fans, thanks for liking and subscribing.